I was laying out in the meadow yesterday and I could smell this beautiful scent in the air. It was kind of like clover or wisteria. And my mind was connecting to an energy that was so free and so happy. I wanted to smell that moment forever. And in that moment, I was so aware of how heavy my heart was, even though I've worked so hard at getting my heart as light as a feather. I still could tell that connecting with whatever energy I was connecting with, that energy was so much happier than I was. And I looked up and I saw these little gnats flying above my head. If we look at 11 o'clock, there's a vesica piscis going inside the mind or the head of a horse. And this vesica piscis is like a tube. And this tube is like artificial intelligence inside our mind, telling us things. Stay in this religion, believe this, feel this, go to work, submit, blah, 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 blah. And the eye of the needle is going through the center of this vesica piscis and marrying spirit with flesh. Once spirit begins to talk to us, we start to disconnect from AI, artificial intelligence, the Moloch energy you have at the right side of your page, the Archon energy. And when we disconnect and we begin to listen to the Great Mother, the Holy Spirit, we are somehow able to ascend out of a program. And so what I'm seeing is that somehow your energy has been lessened as of late, and you are under the fish, and you are being pushed back into the age of Pisces, not ascending to Aquarius. But your horse is telling you, go through the eye of the needle. Listen to spirit with the ear of the powerful horse and the Christ consciousness with living waters pouring from your heart. And don't worry about religion or man or narcissism. But at the same token, you have an inner child. And this inner child within you must be recapitulated, must be heard. She must have a voice. She must be seen. She must talk and be given the appropriate mother and father. Otherwise, your inner child will manifest as a husband or someone in your life to awaken you to recapitulate something that has to be forgiven, released, and taken care of, for lack of better words. So your divine essence knows that everyone is a mirror of ourselves. And if the self that we are mirroring or seeing is a jerk, then there is something within us that has to be healed and faced and looked at, and recapitulated and forgiven and shifted. Otherwise, these people will keep coming in our lives, no matter what we do, no matter how happy we feel that we think we are. And my friend Stephanie was just telling me about this. She was like, Mary, you have to heal your inner child. You cannot keep giving to people and giving people your energy because you have been programmed to be a codependent and to be so nice. When that's a program, your inner child wants so much to be loved. It is a time of rest right now. We're supposed to be resting and taking care of ourselves. And that's part of the mommy taking care of the inner child who needs to appropriately be seen, heard, and forgiven and released. So let's talk about what we see in your pieces. So the resurrection stone, according to the Harry Potter allegory, is the stone of resurrection, the ability to resurrect the dead. And the resurrection stone isn't just about resurrecting those who have died. The resurrection stone is resurrecting a feeling that has died within you that you must resurrect. So if your inner child was this magical heart that had ideas of growing lollipops or dancing with flowers and talking with trees and being a mermaid or whatever, and somehow in your life you became an adult that was part of a program, the resurrection stone is asking you to go back and do some deep, deep healing, even if it's past life trauma, because it is a feeling in your heart that is not allowing living waters to flow from your heart, that is manifesting outside of yourself. And when we do the deep healing alone, away from all narcissistic people or seemingly narcissistic people, then our outer world begins to change. I've done it. I left my husband and I was gone for about a month. And make sure that you push pause and read this as well, because there were things that I had to recapitulate and heal within myself, and I'm still doing it. I'm still recapitulating some things. But the recapitulation process will really help to identify what it is that you have left behind. Now we're going to look at your pieces and look at exactly what Spirit is telling you that you left behind. And it's also connected to religion and child sacrifice and artificial intelligence. So recapitulation was presented in the books or the writings of Carlos Castaneda, which is The Sorcerer's Crossing, I often talk about in my lives. And it is a breathing technique of exhalation and inhalation. It is a head movement. You can hold a crystal, and basically it is obliviating your past, resurrecting it, and then erasing it, breathing the power back that we left behind. It is the power and the energy that we have given away to people, places, and things. And this technique recognizes that we have a luminous energy. This is an ethereal net that must not be entangled in timelines or in other people's energy. Recapitulation breaks the basic assumptions that we have accepted throughout our lives. As long as those assumptions remained intact, our memories of our past and the energy they contain can cloud our lives and even appear in front of us as something aggravating. So the first thing that we do is we make a recapitulation list. A list is primarily of meaningful events in our lives. It's intended to direct one to remember and to relive these past events, to help to remove and recover hidden memories. Because these memories have promises and contracts and emotions that are contracts. If we made a promise in our heart, I will never let anyone love me again because of pain, then we have a piece of ourselves stuck in that timeline. And we cannot move forward, and we are stuck in a program, stuck in a world where it's like we're in the nothing. So you begin with your personal memories, and then you move to things that are collective, like religions, governments, controlling organizations, maybe even male, female energies. True forgiveness is realizing that we manifested this by accident or on purpose or whatever because of pieces of ourselves that we have not forgiven or let go of. So it's a difficult concept, but there may be a truth that somewhere in our DNA we have memories of our past lives that we did not recapitulate, and so they manifest as jerks throughout our lives. And so doing a deep recapitulation will help to remove curses, basically. Curses that we put in place because we didn't know what we were doing. We had no idea that being angry and throwing a fit and making promises and screaming or fighting released energy out of us like a boat anchor and left a piece of us in time there. And there's so much truth to this, because when you go back and you lift that boat anchor out and diminish it into nothing, we begin to have a very wonderful feeling in our heart, like as light as a feather, and we begin to remember things that we have forgotten. The more power you recapitulate and take back into your heart chakra, the more your heart chakra will begin to pour out like living waters, like that Christ energy at 11 o'clock in your peace. If you've ever heard my life story, my dad, was really mean, kicked me in the stomach, whipped me, and did some terrible things to me with my naked body. And my mom was ignorant. And anyway, a lot of pain, a lot of throwing me in a mental hospital as a very young girl in Hawkins Lab from Stranger Things. And being all alone, completely alone, not having anyone, praying to Jesus. Jesus isn't there. Grandma, grandpa, mom, sister, anybody, please come help me. I'm all alone and there's no one to help me. There may be a truth that I was my mother, I was my father, I was my sister, I was my grandmother, and we have pieces of ourselves all over the earth. But we separate ourselves from each other because we're afraid of each other. We're afraid of ourselves. And so for me to forgive my dad, my mom, my sisters, there may be a truth that I was them. And I was a jerk, and I didn't know any better. And I created many selves of me in hopes that one of them could fix it. And so if you are one of those, then you can look at all the pieces of yourself and say, I was a jerk there, I was a jerk there, I left a piece of my energy over there, something in my DNA from maybe the Atlantean cycle, I was a jerk, and somehow I didn't forgive it, I didn't let it go, something happened. And I cannot find the pieces of myself, and so I keep on having these lives over and over and over again that don't get fixed. I can't get out of the age of Pisces. Well, here's how you get out of the age of Pisces. Take it upon yourself like the Christ on the cross, and then recapitulate it, let it go, and take your 7 points of drainage, which are your 7 chakras, and turn them into 7 points of power through the 7 spirits of God. And once we do this, we will begin to see a new world and feel a new world, and nothing can be against you. If God is for you, who can be against you? Greater is spirit within you than we are in the world. So in the exhalation, we release all the thoughts and judgments associated with that time. The recapitulation goes very deep. You're witnessing your life or lives from a different perspective. And when you collect enough energy and power from this, your inner child will finally be set free and will not come back as a jerk in your face trying to say, I am still alive and I need to be set free. And believe me, I've gone through this, and I get so angry at people going, really? You're going to make me take the responsibility for all the jerks in my life? Seriously? I am so tired of people telling me to take the blame. But we don't have a choice. We honestly, literally don't have a choice. We have to do this. Because who are you? You come from a tree. And Jesus said, you know a man by the fruit of his tree, and any tree that bears no fruit should be cut down. And this tree goes back to Norse mythology. It goes to Judaism. It's called the tree of souls. Now, Odin was part of this tree energy, and Odin killed himself on a tree. But really, Jesus killed himself too. He could have chosen not to die, but he voluntarily gave himself up and died on a tree. Saint Agatha was tortured on a device called a tree. So this death and rebirth on the tree is so connected to you somehow, very deep in your blood, very deep in your DNA of being a tree. You got to wonder why Isaac Newton was sitting up against a tree when he began to see all these mathematical truths. But So you are a specific tree, and I found some information you can push pause and read here of these tree goddesses. And this particular tree goddess was holding a resurrection stone. And what are you holding in your hand, in your divine piece? A resurrection stone. Resurrection stones used to be called the scarab beetle. But look at this stone here. This has the tree woman on it. So the scarab beetle is the resurrection stone, and the resurrection stone is about this magical act of not only clearing out ethereal energy, but possibly healing you physically from it. There may be a connection and a magical connection of raising the dead and healing your physical body and your physical mind through healing pieces of yourself through time. So who's to say you can't recapitulate your husband and everyone in your life that is not in your favor? You can. You can see through their eyes. You can clear them. Clear yourself first, and then you can go and clear those people because they are you. Adam was Eve and Eve was Adam. You have dominion over even your own husband. You can clear him and anything attached to him that is pulling you down under the age of Pisces. Clear out those old religions. Clear out artificial intelligence. Anything that keeps you and your magical self from being unique and living in the moment and going with a divine flow and having the spark and heart of a child, giggling out of the blue for no reason, and making your own decisions to do things based on synchronicities and the wind blowing in a certain direction. That's you. And if you look at the symbols in this piece, you've been manipulated somehow. There's these men looking at you on the table like artificial intelligence, but that's okay. That's okay. We can clear it. There's something there. If artificial intelligence took our body and did some stuff to us, then that is a part of ourselves. We were aliens doing stuff to people, and we have to heal it. As above, so below. As below, so above. There is no way anything can do anything to us if we didn't do it, if it wasn't part of us somehow. So this is part of the secret. Now notice the age of Pisces is below you here. Notice that your heart chakra is pouring water. Notice that the church is below you and you're blocking it, this praying hand. Notice the mirrors. All of those mirrors are pieces of yourself. You begin to realize that every human being in your life is either a piece of your future that is taking you to joy and power, or they're a piece of your past that you have to forgive and recapitulate. If they are a jerk, then we have a lot of forgiveness to do. And this is how it works. This is the soul of trees. The soul of trees. The souls will not stop being birthed until we take responsibility. And when the last soul is birthed from the tree of souls, the Messiah will return. That's what it says in Judaism. So this resurrection stone goes pretty deep. Were we Hitler? Were we the vilest of vile? Were we the holiest of holy? It doesn't matter. What matters is the more you recapitulate, the more you'll see. And the more you see, the more you'll have the power to change your entire world. If Jesus said, "Go through the eye of the needle," I tell you, the kingdom of heaven is neither above you nor below you, but among you. So if the kingdom of heaven is already here, why aren't we seeing it? You and I are in the same boat. I don't see it either. We must have a lot to recapitulate. We must have a lot to breathe back. We must have a lot of work to do to realize that it'll only get worse if we don't start now through forgiveness and healing and love. To take back that innocent child and that sweet, sweet smell that we have forgotten. Something that smells like blueberry pie, strawberry pie, something, I don't know what, where nothing was against us. Seek first the kingdom of God and all the things that you want will be added unto you. And it's kind of sad. And I guess we're not allowed to get mad about it either. But if we can see who we are, that we come from trees, and our consciousness somehow we're entangled in the mess known as the human race, then one of us has the ability to heal it, and we are being asked to do the job, whether it was our fault or not. Somehow we are the Neo that can go inside the body of the Mr. Smith and change the entire matrix. What? The stag in your piece is the lightning. The owl is the all-seeing eye. Your ability to time travel, your ability to shift worlds, your ability to shapeshift, your ability to bounce your consciousness, your ability to see a world where you are loved and everyone loves you so much. And everybody wants to see that beautiful smile and to see the great things that you will be doing in your life. Because look how powerful you are. And your elbows are blocking the lower world. And this lower world is a place where we perpetuate individualism and separatism through religions, pain, suffering, shame, blame, and especially ignorance. But the resurrection stone is in your hand, is a promise, another promise, to never bury your feelings. Never sign a contract with your heart that keeps a piece of yourself entangled in a world of lies. We're going to face the truth and face ourselves and say, damn it, I was my jerk husband, I was my jerk father, I was my jerk mother, and I was seeing myself like a mirror outside of myself. And I want nothing more than to breathe that back and forgive myself fully and completely, thereby resetting my life where my inner child was never abused and my adult was never abused, and the Adam and Eve were never kicked out of the garden because the apple of good and evil made them see God's kicked them out of the garden. Maybe God never actually kicked them out of the garden. Maybe that's what the apple does. Makes you see evil. And the only way to go back to the garden is to merge Adam back with Eve. And to realize that we are truly loved. And God, your higher self, your inner child, wants nothing more than for you to live in joy and peace and to enjoy a heavenly world that's already among you, supposedly. So it is Valentine's Day, and I did sing this song today, so I'm adding this video onto your video just so that you can replay it. Your most perfect love is inside of you, and I use this song for myself today. Any of us oracles or psychics who are walking around saying we know something and we're not living in heaven, we're liars. We should be living in heaven. We should recapitulate every single day. And so I'm going to. So if you want to escape with me and go to heaven with me, we're going to both recapitulate our past together. And together we're going to start seeing heaven unfold before our eyes like a beautiful rose. Pinky promise? All right. I love you. Thank you for this beautiful reading. Continue to look up what the symbologies mean and do your recapitulation every day. I will make a recapitulation video on how to do it to help you with your process. Everything's going to be okay. We just have a lot of untangling to do, which is really boring. We will consider the ladybug in your piece is a wish, and the dots on the ladybug tell you how many wishes are going to come true. And the ladybug is also the great mother, and is the great mother within you that wants you to birth into a new life. What a beautiful read. I love you so much. This is a song written by my best friend, Sharon Johnson. Happy Valentine's Day. It's called My Most Perfect Love. I've been around the world, just to find out where my place is. And I've learned how to let go, so I don't live in yesterday. I've learned how to look ahead, and I've looked in 1,000 faces by now. Yet I didn't know how far I'd have to go to find my perfect love. And I've learned how to be strong and to admit when I am wrong. And I've learned I had to take a chance or take it slow, no matter what. I know I've learned what the questions are, and so I should have all the answers by far. Yet I didn't know how far I'd have to go to find my perfect love. And I've learned how to be strong and to admit when I am wrong. And I've learned I had to take a chance or take it slow, no matter what. I know I've learned what the questions are. And so I should have all the answers by far. Yet I didn't know how far I'd have to go to find my perfect love. I thought it might never be till I looked inside of me.